Here is something that most men will never understand until a woman tells them directly. Making a woman miss you has nothing to do with grand gestures, expensive gifts, or saying the perfect thing at the perfect moment. It has everything to do with 5 powerfully simple things that most men are either not doing at all or doing in completely the wrong way. The truth about what makes a woman genuinely miss a man is one of the most misunderstood dynamics in all of dating and relationships. Most men focus on being more present, more available, and more accommodating, completely unaware that those very things are eliminating the space that genuine longing requires to develop and grow. Hey guys, welcome back, and if you are new here, I am really glad you found this today, because what I am about to share is going to completely change how you think about attraction and absence. We are breaking down 5 powerfully simple ways to make any woman miss you, straight from a woman who knows exactly what creates that feeling and exactly what destroys it before it ever gets the chance to develop. 1. The first simple thing that makes us miss you before you even leave. Let me start with something that most men never consider when thinking about how to make a woman miss them. The foundation of genuine longing is not created during absence. It is created during presence. Specifically, the quality of presence a man brings to his interactions with a woman determines everything about how deeply she feels his absence when he is no longer there. A man who shows up fully, genuinely, and completely in the moments he is present creates an emotional imprint that a woman carries with her long after those moments have ended. And it is that imprint, that specific feeling of being completely seen and completely engaged with, that her mind returns to when he is gone, and that creates the genuine ache of missing someone who has left a mark worth missing. Most men approach their interactions with women with a divided attention that they are not even consciously aware of. They are physically present but mentally somewhere else, thinking about what to say next, monitoring how the interaction is going, distracted by their phone or their environment or their own internal noise. And the result of that divided attention is that the woman they are with does not feel the full weight of their presence, even when they are sitting right beside her. She feels a partial version of him, a diluted version, a version that is present enough to enjoy in the moment, but not present enough to leave the kind of deep and lasting impression that genuine longing requires to develop and sustain itself. A woman had been spending time with a man who had a specific and unusual quality that she had never quite encountered before in someone she was getting to know. When she was with him, he was completely there. Not partially there, not distracted, not half engaged while managing other things simultaneously. He was present in a way that made every conversation feel significant and every moment feel genuinely worth his full attention. She noticed it, but could not quite articulate what it was that felt different about being around him. Then one evening, after spending time together, she went home and found herself thinking about him in a way that surprised her with its intensity, replaying specific moments, specific things he said, specific ways he looked at her when she was talking. His presence had done something to her that she was not expecting. It had made his absence feel significant. Here is the first powerfully simple way to make a woman miss you. Show up completely when you are there. Put the phone away. Give her your genuine, undivided attention. Engage with what she is actually saying rather than performing engagement while thinking about something else entirely. That level of genuine presence is so rare in the interactions most women have with men that when they encounter it in one specific person, it creates an emotional marking that follows them into the quiet moments of their day when he is not around. You cannot manufacture longing through absence alone. You have to first create something genuinely worth longing for through the quality of what you offer when you are present. Do that consistently, and the missing takes care of itself completely naturally. 2. Why having a life she cannot fully access makes us want you more. Let me tell you about the second powerfully simple way to make a woman miss you, and this one is going to challenge something that most men believe about relationships and attraction. The second way is having a genuine life that a woman cannot fully access, cannot fully predict, and cannot fully see into at all times. Not because you're being secretive or deliberately mysterious, but because you are genuinely living a full and purposeful life that exists completely independently of her presence and her attention in it. When a man's entire life is visible and accessible to a woman, when she can predict exactly what he is doing at any given moment, when his schedule revolves entirely around her availability. And when there is nothing happening in his world that she does not already know about, there is nothing for her imagination to engage with. And imagination is one of the most powerful drivers of genuine longing that exists. A woman who can see everything about a man's life has nothing to wonder about, nothing to be curious about, and nothing to miss, because she already has complete access to everything he is and everything he does. A man who has genuine friendships he maintains, genuine goals he is actively pursuing, genuine interests and passions that light him up independently of any woman. That man creates natural gaps in his availability that a woman's curiosity fills with something far more compelling than the reality of his constant presence could ever produce. She wonders what he is doing when he is not available. She thinks about the parts of his life she has not yet seen. She becomes genuinely curious about a person who is clearly living something worth being curious about. Here is the honest and direct message from this section. Stop making yourself completely transparent and completely accessible in an attempt to make a woman feel secure and chosen. Build a life that is genuinely full, genuinely interesting, and genuinely yours regardless of whether any particular woman is paying attention to it. That life, that fullness, that sense of a man who has something real going on beyond the relationship, that is what creates the natural and genuine longing that no amount of strategic withholding or manufactured mystery could ever replicate. 3. The way you end interactions is more powerful than how you begin them. Here is something that most men spend enormous energy getting right and then completely undo in the final moments of every interaction: the ending. Most men focus intensely on how to start a conversation, how to make a good first impression, and how to keep things engaging throughout. But they give almost no thought to how they end things, and the ending of an interaction is actually the part that stays with a woman longest and shapes most powerfully how she thinks about him when he is no longer there. The way most men end interactions is by letting them run completely out of energy before finally wrapping things up. They keep the conversation going until there is genuinely nothing left to say, until the energy has fully dissipated, and until both people are essentially just filling silence with words that no longer carry any real momentum or genuine enthusiasm. And the result of that pattern is that a woman walks away from the interaction feeling satisfied and complete rather than wanting more, and a woman who feels satisfied and complete after an interaction with a man does not miss him. A woman who walks away wanting more does. The third powerfully simple way to make a woman miss you is to end every interaction at its natural peak. When the conversation is still genuinely good, when the energy between you is still warm and engaged, when there is still plenty that could be said, that is the moment to end it. Not abruptly and not coldly, but naturally and confidently while things are still genuinely alive. That timing creates an open loop in her psychology that her mind keeps trying to close by returning to thoughts of you, replaying the conversation, and anticipating the next one with a level of genuine excitement that interactions which run too long simply never produce. The practical application of this is simpler than most men expect, but requires genuine discipline to implement because it goes against every natural instinct in an enjoyable interaction. When things are going well, end it. Say something genuine, express that you have enjoyed the time, and then step away while she is still fully engaged and still wanting more of what the conversation was providing. Do this consistently, and you will create something that most men never manage despite all their effort. You will become the man she is always looking forward to seeing again because every interaction with you ends before she was ready for it to. 4. Why doing less makes us feel your absence more deeply. Here is the fourth powerfully simple way to make a woman miss you, and it is the one that goes most directly against everything most men instinctively do when they want a woman to think about them more. The way to make a woman feel your absence more deeply is to do less. Not less of the things that matter, not less genuine care or real connection, but less of the constant and indiscriminate availability that turns a man's presence into background noise rather than something genuinely felt and genuinely valued. When a man is constantly reaching out, constantly initiating, and constantly filling every available space with his attention and his communication, a woman's emotional system adapts to his presence the same way it adapts to any constant and predictable stimulus. It stops fully registering it. His messages become expected rather than anticipated. His presence becomes assumed rather than appreciated. And assumed things are never the things that people genuinely miss, because missing requires the experience of absence, and absence cannot be felt when someone is always there filling every available space. Doing less creates the contrast that genuine longing requires to develop. When a man pulls back slightly from the constant flow of communication and availability, the spaces he creates are felt immediately and specifically by a woman who had become accustomed to his consistent presence. She notices the silence in a way that she never noticed the noise. She becomes aware of his absence in a way that she never fully appreciated his presence. And that awareness, uncomfortable as it might be for her, is the exact emotional state that genuine missing is made of. Here is the honest and direct message that every man needs to carry from this section. Less is genuinely more when it comes to making a woman miss you. Not cold, not punishing, not strategic withholding designed to cause anxiety, but the natural and authentic doing less that comes from a man who has real things investing his time and genuine priorities that come before making himself endlessly available to any one person. That natural restraint communicates value, communicates self-respect, and creates the space that longing meets to breathe and grow into something a woman genuinely feels and genuinely acts on. 5. The one thing you do that stays in our mind long after you are gone here is the fifth powerfully simple way to make a woman miss you. And this one is so understated and so consistently overlooked that most men will read it and immediately underestimate just how powerful it actually is in practice. The thing that stays in a woman's mind long after a man is gone is genuine, specific, completely unprompted thoughtfulness. Not the grand gesture kind that shows up during special occasions or is designed to impress, but the quiet, ordinary, completely unexpected kind that shows up in the middle of an ordinary day and communicates one simple but deeply powerful message, that she was in his thoughts when she was not even there to prompt the thought. Thoughtfulness of this specific kind creates what I would describe as an emotional anchor, a specific feeling connected to a specific person that a woman's mind returns to repeatedly in the quiet moments of her day. When a man remembers something small she mentioned once and acts on it days or weeks later, without any fanfare or expectation of recognition, he creates a moment that she replays. When he sends a message about something that genuinely reminded him of her without any agenda behind the sending, he creates a moment she returns to. When he follows up on something she shared in passing that most people would have forgotten immediately, he creates a moment that stays with her and shapes how she thinks about him in his absence. A woman had been getting to know a man for several weeks when she mentioned once, in a completely casual and forgettable part of a longer conversation, that she had been going through a stressful period at work and had not been sleeping well because of it. She did not make a big deal of it and moved on quickly to other topics. 2 weeks later, completely out of nowhere, he sent her a message in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon that said he hoped things had settled down at work and that she was finally getting some proper rest. She sat with that message for a long time. Not because it was elaborate or romantic, but because it meant he had been listening closely enough to remember something she considered insignificant. It meant she had been in his thoughts when she was not even present to put herself there. Here is what men need to understand from this section. The things that make a woman miss a man are almost never the big impressive things. They're the small, quiet, genuinely human things that communicate real attention and real care without any performance attached to them. Thoughtfulness of this kind cannot be faked convincingly because it requires actually listening, actually retaining, and actually caring enough to act on what was heard without needing anything in return for the acting. Build this habit genuinely and consistently, and you will become the kind of man that women carry in their thoughts long after every interaction ends, not because you did something impressive, but because you did something real. 6. Why your independence is the most attractive thing you own. Let me talk about the 6th insight in this video. Something that most men completely undervalue about themselves and consistently give away too cheaply in the pursuit of a woman's attention and approval. A man's genuine independence, his full and purposeful life that exists completely and meaningfully without needing any woman to complete it, is one of the most powerfully attractive things he possesses. And it is also the thing that most directly creates the kind of genuine longing that makes a woman miss him when he is not around. Here is why independence creates missing in a way that constant availability never can. When a man is genuinely independent, when he has real goals he is pursuing, real friendships he maintains, real passions that engage him, and a genuine sense of direction that does not shift based on whether a particular woman is present and interested, he becomes someone a woman has to genuinely compete for a place in the life of. And things that require genuine effort and genuine investment to access are always things that feel more valuable, more worth having, and more acutely missed when they are temporarily unavailable. Most men give their independence away the moment a woman shows interest. They drop their plans, cancel their commitments, restructure their priorities, and make themselves endlessly available in a way that communicates one very specific and very unattractive thing: that nothing in their life was important enough to protect from reorganization the moment she expressed interest. And a man whose life reorganizes itself completely around a woman's availability is a man who has just communicated that his independence was never real to begin with. Here is the direct message that every man needs to hear from this section. Protect your independence not as a strategy to make women miss you, but because a full and genuinely purposeful life is worth protecting for its own sake. Keep the friendships, maintain the goals, honor the commitments, and show up consistently as a man who has something real going on beyond the relationship. That independence, lived genuinely and consistently, creates a natural and powerful pulling sensation in a woman who senses that she is in the presence of someone whose life is genuinely worth wanting to be a part of. 7. What most men get wrong about making a woman miss them. Let me finish this video with the most honest and most important conversation of everything covered today. What most men consistently get wrong about making a woman miss them, and why those mistakes not only fail to produce genuine longing, but actively work against it in ways that are difficult to recover from once the pattern has been established in a dynamic. The biggest mistake most men make is confusing manufactured absence with genuine independence. They go quiet deliberately, they withhold themselves strategically, and they monitor her response to see if the silence is producing the reaction they were hoping for. And that calculated, performance-based approach to absence communicates something that women feel immediately even when they cannot articulate exactly what feels off about it. It communicates that the man is not actually living his life. He is managing a dynamic. And a man who is managing a dynamic rather than genuinely living is a man who is performing independence rather than embodying it. Here is the honest criticism that this video has been building toward and that most men genuinely need to hear. You cannot make a woman miss something that was never genuinely present in the first place. If the quality of your presence when you are there is diluted, distracted, and performative, your absence will not create longing. It will simply create relief. Genuine missing is always a response to genuine value, and genuine value cannot be manufactured through strategic withdrawal. It has to be built through the consistent, authentic, daily work of becoming a man whose presence actually means something. The wake-up call here is simple, and it requires real honesty to act on completely. Stop focusing on how to make her miss you and start focusing on becoming a man genuinely worth missing. Build the presence. Develop the thoughtfulness, protect the independence and interactions at their peak. Live the full and purposeful life. Not as tactics designed to trigger longing, but as genuine expressions of a man who takes his own growth and his own life seriously. Do that consistently and authentically, and the missing will follow as naturally and as inevitably as everything else that genuine self-investment produces in every area of a man's life that matters. Here is the boldest truth I can share as a woman who understands exactly what creates genuine longing. A woman does not miss a man because he disappeared. She misses him because when he was there, he made her feel something real, something specific, and something rare enough that his absence creates a gap she genuinely feels. That is the only kind of missing worth creating, and it starts entirely with the quality of who a man is when he shows up. Everything covered in this video points to one simple and powerful conclusion. Making a woman miss you is not about strategy, it is not about games, and it is not about carefully calculated withdrawal designed to trigger a specific emotional response. It is about becoming a man of genuine presence, genuine independence, genuine thoughtfulness, and genuine self-worth, and then living that consistently enough that your absence is felt as the removal of something real and valuable. Now I want to hear from you personally. Has anything covered in this video shifted how you think about presence, absence, and what actually makes a woman miss a man? Or have you experienced this dynamic firsthand and watched it play out exactly the way it was described today? Drop your honest experience in the comments below because I read every single one and I will be personally responding. Your story matters here, and this is a real conversation that I genuinely want to keep going with you.